The Marion County School Board is called to order. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I am requesting everyone in the audience please turn off your electronic devices or put them on vibrate. Later in the meeting, up to 30 minutes will be provided for individuals to address the board on matters concerning the operation of the Marion County school system or the school board only. Presentations to the board are limited to 5 minutes and are televised. If you wish to address the board regarding a regular agenda item or matters on which the board customarily takes action, you must first complete a peach form located on the table in the hallway. And if you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing or a student discipline matter, please complete a lime green form. These forms must be fully completed and received by the board secretary no later than 5:40 p.m. The procedures applicable for each are on a separate sheet. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Mrs. Nancy Stacy, District 1. Here. Mr. Bobby James, District 3.
Here.
Ms. Angie Boynton, District 4. Here. Mrs. Beth McCall, District 2. Here. Mrs. Kelly King, District 5.
Here.
Dr. Heidi Mayer, Superintendent.
Here.
Mr. Paul Gibbs, School Board Attorney.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Beth Abel, Early Learning Coordinator, please introduce the students who will be providing the inspiration and leading us in the pledge this evening. We have a packed house. She's probably having to make her way. There she is. Hi.
We have a whole crew out there.
Yes,
We're all waiting to come in. That's
Yes.
awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing us to be here. We are absolutely honored to be here to share our VPK students with you for the pledge and inspiration.
Oh my gosh, thanks.
I'm very proud to introduce our two summer school teachers that we have here. We have Carol Cameron, who is right at the front. Hi. And she is teaching at College Park Elementary summer school site. And then we have Robin Van Wart, who you should see as a familiar face. And she is teaching at Anthony Elementary this summer. Ladies, would you mind introducing your students for us, please?
All right, we've got Josiah, Angel, Antonella, DL, David, Riley,
Jarvis, Aaron, Fernanda, Raina, Brianna, Jaleel, and Sophie.
All right, we can't wait to hear our incredible students.
Are we going to do the pledge? Yes. Ready?
We have two songs for you for the inspiration.
A singer,
Sophie, I have heard from your teacher the healing power of your hugs. I see Dr. Mayer up here who looks like she might need a hug. Would you mind giving her one?
Look at me. Great job. You guys.
Weren't they amazing? Thank you so much. Parents, we so appreciate you coming, and teachers, we really appreciate you being here and working with our children and making such the difference that you do. Thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, back up. Point.
All right. While they're taking their picture, I'd like to take a moment and just share a little bit about our program so that you're familiar with it. I know that this is one of the most exciting times for me in my annual endeavors when I get to come and share with you what our children are doing. So once again, I'm going to give you a lot of numbers. I'll make it quick, but I want you to know this is what it's about. When they are singing and counting and learning and they're recalling from their songs, that's just one example of how much they're learning because of the provisions that are given to them. So thank you very much. I'd like to share with you that we have in this coming up year, in 2017-18, we've got 32 certified teachers that will be a part of our VPK team. We have 32 highly qualified paras, and we'll have 5 content area specialists, and then myself as the coordinator. We have served over 664 students this past year of all of our 4-year-olds, and we do that through 2 programs, through the school year and through the summer program. We have 23 elementary sites with 32 classrooms, and with summer we have 10 sites. And while they're exiting, I just want to introduce part of my team. I have an amazing team. I've got a content area specialist, and I also have my clerk. And the 2 women that I want to introduce, I'm so proud to have them. They're incredible workers. They go well beyond what is ever asked of them, and they make our program run as well as it does. So I'd like to introduce, we've got right here, this is Crystal Dugan. She is the VPK clerk. And then we have Michelle Moles, if you want to step up. We've got Michelle Moles, who is one of our VPK coaches, AKA content area specialist. Yes, and I want to thank you too with the bottom of my heart because you make the difference for our VPK program. So thank you very much.
And Ms. Abel,
Yes.
Would you share how your team, you mentioned how they go above and beyond,
Yes.
and just one example of the many is how Ms. Dugan stayed right before 4th of July weekend, and everybody had left early. They were given permission to leave early, but Ms. Dugan stayed to call how many parents to let them know about an opportunity coming up?
Yes, she stayed, and we worked on making phone calls and getting some mailers out, some through the U.S.
Time
Post
sensitive,
Office. It was
yeah.
very time sensitive, and she didn't bat an eye, and she was right there, and she stayed with me till it was 7 o'clock that night. And then another evening, we had another time sensitive issue, and the AC was out, and so there was an early release for vacating that area. And again, she didn't bat an eye, and she stayed for until 6:30 that night. Mind you, that's well beyond her workday. And then Michelle Moles, she has gone above and beyond in everything. When I ask her for anything, she is 4 steps ahead of me. So she's got it, she's presenting it to me, or she's presenting new ideas. So I am incredibly blessed to be surrounded by this team. And I also have other members, but these are my summer school that are working right now. But I'd love for you to meet the others as well, because they're just as awesome. So thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. I want to share with you that we monitor our progress for our students, not only through watching them in observation, but we also do it through the VPK assessment, which is the Department of Education. It's a required assessment that we have to give. So I want to share with you just very quickly. Very quickly, some of the results. These should not surprise you because every year I stand here and I brag about these VPK kiddos, and this year is no different. You have 4 sheets in front of you, and the very first one is the district summary for the school year program. What I want to point out to you on the graphs is when they come in green, you see the green on the far left, that is below expectations. That's how they come into us. And it is very likely the child will not be ready for kindergarten. I want you to flip the page, and this is the school year result. You see all that purple on the right-hand side? Those are all the students who are now ready to enter kindergarten. So I did the math, and the first area is print knowledge. That first column is print knowledge. So if you're on the second page with me, their growth from the very beginning of the year to the end of the year, it was a 75% growth. We have 96% of our students ready in print knowledge. And print knowledge is letter naming, letter sounds, that kind of thing. The second column that you see there, that is phonological awareness. So that's blending and deletion of sounds, adding, putting sounds together. So it went from 30% being ready to 92% being ready. So that's an increase of 62% from when they came in. And then with oral language, which is your third area, and that's they're naming items, they're defining what things are. It's our oral language and our vocabulary. We went from 47 to 94, so that is, yes, to 94, so that's a 47% increase. And then finally from math, check that one out. We went from 12% who were ready to 93% that were ready. So that is a total growth of 81%, which just blows us away that our children do so well, and this is just one area. There are many other areas in which we can assess our children, but this is one that is required by the state. That's for full school year. So let me take you through the next page. That's the third page. This is assessment period 1. So this is at the beginning of the year for summer school. So when you look at summer school, looking at the green, those are all the children who would not be ready for kindergarten, which is only a couple, back then it was only a couple months away. The last page shows the growth. This was a 31-day program. The children you just saw were part of that group. And for the print knowledge, they went up 38%. For phonological awareness, in 31 days, they went up 34%. With oral language and vocabulary, they went up 17%. They came in strong this time on that one. And then finally for math, they went up 30% in 31 days. I can't stress that enough. So we are ecstatic with these results. We feel like our children are learning. They're learning through doing, they're learning through being involved, and they're learning through play. And it's made a big, big difference for them. I'd like to share one more bit of super exciting news for us. We worked very diligently since December on a grant, and it involved many, many people in the district and many, many departments, touched a lot of departments. And with the support of Dr. Mayer and Dr. Grantham and Dr. Ham, we have been awarded, we've been formally told that we have been awarded the SIG 4 grant, which is the School Improvement Grant Cohort 4. It is a over $4 million grant that lasts for 5 years. And the purpose of it, the goal of it, is to increase our graduation rates at Lake Weir High School. And the way it's going to be done is through a feeder pattern support. And so it's going to start at the elementary schools, that then those children feed into Lake Weir Middle School, who then feed into Lake Weir High School. And while we do have some supports in the middle school and the high school, the main support that DOE recognizes is in the early learning, in particular, VPK. So the majority of the money is going to be invested in our children at the earliest ages so that we can support them all the way through until graduation. We are absolutely thrilled that the Department of Education would recognize how important early learning is and help us on this journey to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all of our children from the very beginning until they graduate and further. So I just wanted to share that with you and let you know that our children in Marion County schools are going to benefit from this, and we're starting it now. We're thrilled. Yeah, we're thrilled. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for our wonderful presentation. Our little guys. Oh, he does, okay.
That has always been one of the things I felt that we needed to do, is establish a feeder pattern. And with it going from VPK all the way up to the high school, this will really amplify what I think we're trying to do as a district. And hopefully you all can find another $4 million and go out to some other one of these feeder patterns.
We would love
We
that.
already have the plan, sir.
Because we're excited about that, and this is something I've been looking forward to for many years. Thank you. That's one of our highest priorities right there, what you just said. Thank you.
And we appreciate your support for that high priority because we believe in it as well. So thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And I know,
I'll just mention that Ms. Abel is transitioning to take the lead in the pre-K part of that because she speaks pre-K like nobody else I know, so we appreciate
like you. All right.
Would you, if you don't mind telling these wonderful students, thank you for a wonderful song and presentation that they gave us. They took off before we could, and I was like, okay. And also, we are very grateful for you and your teachers and everyone, because I was corrected a few months ago by Dr. Phelps, actually. And I stood before teachers and I said how important their job is because they're the foundation for the rest of the years. And she didn't correct me right then, but later on she corrected me when she told those teachers that they're the ones that teach how to love to learn. And it stood out to me. And so you guys are right there, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How do you follow that, Mrs. King?
We can't, that's our
Okay.
highlight, that's our highlight of the night.
I recommend approval of the agenda for the July 25th, 2017 school board meeting with the materials in the board packet. Those materials distributed to board members at the meeting, and the audio recording included as part of the official record of the meeting.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Ms. Boynton. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And those that oppose, like sign.
Still coming on. Oh, okay.
And the motion carried 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the June 8th, 2017 administrative briefing and work session?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Boynton, seconded by Mr. James. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the June 13th, 2017 school board meeting?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Boynton, seconded by Ms. McCall. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the June 22nd, 2017 administrative briefing and work session?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, second by Ms. Boynton. Are there any additions or corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the June 27th, 2017 school board meeting?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Mr. James. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those that oppose, like sign. And the motion carried 5-0. Mrs. Judy Zanetti, Public Education Foundation Officer, would like to once again present Mr. Diego Fuentes, Marion County's Teacher of the Year and top 5 finalists for Florida Teacher of the Year.
Good evening, Superintendent, Mayor, and School Board. As always, it's an honor to be here with you. So I don't have gorgeous little pre-K students that are going to sing and make you cry, but I will tell you, if you were with us at the Florida Teacher of the Year Gala and you saw the video that was produced about our teacher, Diego Fuentes, where they interviewed his students and saw him in the classroom, you would be crying right now, as we were then. And Diego and Miss Manresa, I'll call you up here with me for a moment. And I wanted to say that when the superintendent mayor was transitioning into her role here as superintendent many months ago, she and I had a conversation, and she let it be known then that supporting our teachers was a priority for her, and that she wanted to make sure that Marion County's Teacher of the Year knew that they were supported by their school, their superintendent, and their school district. And so when working with the superintendent, the foundation was honored to be able to make sure that we took a large contingent of folks from Marion County to that State Teacher of the Year Gala. Trust me, we outdid every other county there. And Mrs. King and her husband were there, of course. Dr. Mayer was there. Dr. Grantham was there. Dr. and Mrs. Ham were there. Of course, Diego was there. His principal, Lori Manresa, and her husband were there. John LaQuarrie, our rookie Teacher of the Year, was there with his group from Stanton Rearsdale Elementary School as well. It was very exciting. And I could not be more proud of Diego and the way he represented Hillcrest School, the way he represented Marion County. And you know that the students that he works with every day at Hillcrest are not always so highly represented. Sometimes they don't have the voice that they deserve. And Diego bringing this honor to himself, to Marion County, and to Hillcrest allowed those students to have a voice. And so we're so proud of him. And I wanted Diego to say a few words, and then Dr. Mayer, we can chime in about the fantastic gala. Diego?
Thank you. I want to touch the mic there and adjust it, but you can hear me perfectly fine. Thanks for bringing a crowd. That was amazing. That it really was. I felt really the love and the support that night. So thank you, Dr. Mayer. Thank you for being there, Ms. King, and everybody who was there. Mainly, I just kind of got a list. I really don't even really have a list, but there's some people I just need to thank because I owe it to them, or I'll be in trouble if I don't. I got to thank by the way, what am I thanking you for? The experience. This has been just extraordinary. Just from being in Tallahassee, seeing how things get done, and just in awe of it all, and the people there. So I will say that'll be my first thank you. How about that, Aleden, Florida Department of Education, for taking care of business like this. It was amazing. What a great group of educators there were. I was floored by the quality of people there, and I'm like, what am I doing in this crowd?
I can tell them.
You can tell. All right. I'll be happy to have you tell them. But that was, so I would say a thank you to Commissioner Stewart and to Mr. Lyons, Chancellor Lyons, for being there, being very motivated, being very supportive. And I want to thank my wife, Danny. She, without her, I wouldn't be here. Every step of the way, she never let me stop where I was thinking I was going to stop. When I write a little speech, she said, that's garbage. First draft, throw that away, which it always is. In any case, this is not my first draft. I'm just backtracking. Okay. The school board, Doc, I wanted to say thank you. I did already, but I want to say thank you again. What a crowd. And even I forget the lady's name that was announcing the Macy's. I can't remember her name, but she even stopped and said, you brought a crowd here, which was really kind of neat. And then my head on a stick again, which always disturbs me slightly. Judy Zanetti and the foundation, wow, so supportive. And there was a little shrine, again, a little creepy, as I see it, go Diego, go. But in the Public Education Foundation, and I just felt so much love and support again. And I just remembered from everyone in the foundation, but my good friend Jasper, I said that if I was selected, that I would mention Jasper. And I'm here, I was one of the 5, and I gotta say, Jasper, thank you for your inspiration. You rock it, rock it, rock it. You just make me so happy. Hillcrest, here it is. I can barely read my own writing. Hillcrest and Miss Manresa, Mike, Mr. Collins, and the school for the kind of school that it is. It's just, I've said it 1,000 times, but I don't say it with empty words. It really is an amazing place. Just really, really good people, really hardworking, just nose to the grindstone type people, and loving and kind. And so I wouldn't be here without Hillcrest either. That's the context that brought me here. And Miss Dobbins, thank you for inviting me to speak the other day. It was a good opportunity, and coming back from the heels of the high of a big gala, people still debate what you should say. But that was coming down from that. I wasn't sure, because it was an intense experience, meeting with everybody and having these conferences with all these high octane people, and coming back after all that into just easing in. And I was like, no, I have to do a motivational speech. and Ms. Dobbins brought me in to do that, and I was grateful to share that. And I enjoyed myself very much, and I hope everyone else did. That is my written list. There's so many other people. I mentioned Jasper. I want to thank my students, seriously, the students at Hillcrest, because I mentioned it to a lot of people at the conference that we had in Orlando, that we were teachers out of context. So without our students, we're I suppose an interesting lot. But when you see teachers amongst the students is when everybody comes alive. And we were teachers out of context. They were still amazing people. But when we get in our rooms, in our classrooms, we come alive in a way that is really special, and it wouldn't happen without our students. So that is the words that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for all the support. Again, I hope I didn't talk too long. I don't know who's next. That's like weird dream stuff. Thank you.
I'd just like to say a few things. First of all, we are so fortunate to have Diego, not just at Hillcrest, but in our county. He is remarkable. The kindness that he has and he displays to our kids that are so challenged is heartwarming. So if you have the opportunity to visit Hillcrest, please stop by. It's a beautiful thing to watch. ESE, that's what we're all about, exceptional student education, and we at Hillcrest have an acronym every year. Last year, our acronym was PROUD, which stood for People Respecting Our Unique Differences. I am getting ready to unfold the new one for this year, and you have the first opportunity to hear it. And it was an inspiration at the leadership conference. Diego used the word magic. Magic is our new acronym for this school year, and it is for making amazing groups of individuals connect. That is what he does every day. He makes individuals connect. So connect with us, come visit, and see what we do, because magic happens at Hillcrest, and we're very proud of it. So thank you very much.
Wait, are you talking about Diego or, okay.
Yes,
Well, you're up next, so I was going to make sure he wasn't going to run like the.
with your
priest-
permission,
priest.
the Bobbsey twins would like to talk about Diego. It's amazing that we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy talking about things like budgets and school buses and software packages and how we move things around. And really, it's the people that make a difference. And we know that the Teacher of the Year in Florida just talked to you. That somebody else didn't recognize that and only made him one of 5 finalists is their problem, not ours. I think they picked somebody who was a political wonk and could go speak to groups about that kind of stuff. But when it comes to teaching, this guy rocks it, and we were in awe.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if you can't tell what a class act, Diego, you are a very selfless human being, and you're a great dude. When we first got here, the superintendent said, we're going to this, and that was before you were the top 5, because she was honoring teachers and the profession. But what a great event, Ms. King, you were there, and just what we were doing to honor teachers, and you are the epitome of what a teacher and a professional should be. So we honor you, Diego.
And thank you, Ms. Zanetti, for organizing all that.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to say that as excited as we are to honor Diego, what he's been through this past year has not been just confettis and golden apple. He's worked very hard, and there have been times, I'm sure, whether or not he would admit it, he's probably been very stressed. It's a difficult process. Even just going through our own county selection process is difficult. And so he's worked very hard. It wasn't, certainly this was nothing that came easy for him. He worked very hard, and I wanted to acknowledge that. And I also wanted to just put out there that Hillcrest School needs a business partner. So
That's a good one to have.
while we're talking about the magic that happens at Hillcrest, I thought I would just put that out there for our community, that we are still looking for a business partner at Hillcrest.
Okay, Ms. Stacy?
I'd like to say something. You know, I see this little trio standing here, and there's one in the back that makes foursome. And these 4 are just great. And Miss Zanetti, I've known you for a long time. I've watched you come through the system, and you have built a phenomenal program. I've seen our teachers, you know, our Golden Apple teachers go on to be great things, do great things, and the selection process must be working because great things are happening. And I want to thank you. You're at the root of all of this. We've come a long way. You've come a long way, baby.
Thank you, Mrs. Stacy. I've got the world's best team and working with me, and we've got great teachers to represent us.
Well, thank y'all for all you do, everybody up there. Thank you.
Ms. McCall?
I want to say thank you, Diego. You're wonderful. You're such an inspiration. Mrs. Zanetti, our Golden Apple teacher program is touted in the state as one of the finest selection programs for our Teacher of the Year. Not every county does what we do to select our Teacher of the Year. And so congratulations. We started that years and years ago, but you have certainly taken it to another level. And I would encourage, because we're always putting Golden Apple Committee and the Rookie Teacher Committee together, anybody that's interested in that process and serving on that committee, it is a big time commitment, but it is so worth it because you really get to see what's going on in our schools. So for those of you in the community who have the time that might be interested, please contact Judy's office. Lori, thank you for all you do for Hillcrest. It's wonderful, and I'll be out there trying to help you find a business partner. I promise you that. Okay, Diego, thank you so much for all you do for our students. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Ms. Zanetti, you said it right when you said if they were at that gala, that there would have been tears in your eyes, because there was tears at our table. We're like, oh, and we were like, he's gonna win. But you are number one in Marion County. But I also want to add that you have a fan club out there, and it's not just us. It's not just us, because when we were waiting for a bus to transport us, a lady figured out that we were from Marion County, and she says, "Oh, I love Diego." And then it gets better, because she points to her husband and she goes, "And my husband knows, and it's okay." So I don't know. I didn't know how to respond to that, but we love Diego too. And we are so appreciative of you, and thank you for sharing your gifts and talents with your students. And Miss Manresa, I always say Manresa, it is Manresa. Thank you for always supporting your teachers so that they can be, everything along with their students. And Jasper, we are so glad you came tonight. So, thank you. Thank you.
Teacher of the world.
Teacher of the world. He is teacher of the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, now we can invite.
Okay.
All right. Dr. Craig Ham, Deputy Superintendent of Operations, would like to recognize Marion County Hospital District for their generous donation of $200,000 to implement a greenhouse project at Vanguard High.
Wow. It's hard to follow what we've seen already here tonight, but you all know that the Marion County Public Schools doesn't stand alone in Marion County. We work in concert with a lot of other government, public service, and private sector entities. And it's important that we recognize how, as a community, we come together to support our schools and for the betterment of the community. The program that we want to talk about tonight, and I'll have Ms. McGuire speak to that in a minute, is emblematic of what happens when we work together. And I want to talk about a little of the groundwork on this first. Cherie Potter is our specialist in wellness and physical education. And she has, for quite some time, worked with the hospital district in a number of different initiatives, everything from athletic equipment to help with wellness to planting the seeds of thought that led to this program as well. And I'm going to ask Ms. McGuire to come forward and talk about this program that tonight you're seeing the first steps in what's going to be a much larger initiative in the linkage between the hospital district and the school system.
Thank you, Dr. Ham. Good evening, board members, superintendent. This is a great night to be at a Marion County School Board meeting. I will tell you, this is just so exciting. And I think with the people you're going to meet, the excitement is just going to continue. I'd like to recognize who's here tonight is Kurt Bromond, who is the Executive Director of Marion County Hospital District. Heather Wyman is the Project Director with Marion County Hospital District. If you would please stand. Jeremy Roden is the Ag Teacher and FFA Advisor at Vanguard High School. Tanya Travieso is the ESE Teacher at Vanguard High School. And then I also, besides Cherie Potter, who was introduced, John Curley was the principal at Vanguard High School when these conversations started, and Troy Sanford is the current principal at Vanguard High School. So these are the people who are going to be so involved in what you're going to hear about tonight. But I am going to ask Heather to join me. Oh, she came up behind me. And just say a few words. Thank you all for being here. This is such an exciting partnership, and it's, there's like a song or a saying, this is just the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And Heather and I have gotten to know each other very well over the last month or so, and we're so excited about not only what's going to happen as Vanguard at the model of a greenhouse and a hydroponics program, and the vision of the teachers. They are working with the ag students and the ESE students for years, and what this is going to do with our farm to school initiative in Marion County. But really, we're looking to set the model for the state. And as we visit and talk at different schools, we have wonderful ideas, whether it's going to be a middle school or an elementary school, and how the partnership is really going to develop. So Heather, if you want to share a few things.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for having us. We're really excited to be here, and we could not be happier with this partnership. This is going to be a great partnership for years to come. So as Suzanne said, we were very fortunate that Cherie Potter actually kind of laid the groundwork for us while she's been working on the grant that she has through the Marion County Hospital District. And so we came up with a really great program because the mission of the Marion County Hospital District is to improve the lives of all of those Marion County citizens, to be healthier and more active citizens in the county. So what a better way than to start with our little kids and raise them up to be healthier individuals and be more productive and want to stay in Marion County and be productive. So our role is FANS, Fitness and Nutrition in the Schools. We're going to allow Cherie is going to handle the fitness side of it, and I'm going to handle the nutrition, and we're going to implement a farm-to-school program starting at Vanguard, because Jeremy and Tanya have already worked so hard at that school with John Curley and now Mr. Sanford. And we're going to put a greenhouse there, and we're going to start a great farm-to-school initiative that will hopefully teach children to lead healthier lifestyles, to make healthier choices in their fitness and their nutrition. And then we'll eventually, hopefully, feed down to the feeder schools, whether that's a learning landscape at a middle school or a raised bed at an elementary school.
Yes, and we've been visiting a couple of the middle schools, looking at what they have in place for the greenhouse. And a couple of things that are going to happen with this is, first of all, our students are going to be SafeServe certified, which means they can go and apply for jobs in restaurants. But more than that, the lettuce that's going to grow at Vanguard is going to go into our Vanguard cafeteria and eventually to all of our cafeterias. So we also have an initiative where we're reaching out to small farmers. We have a meeting set up in August. We'll share that date with you all. And we're looking at them for a couple of different things: advisors, guest speakers to our students. Of course, if they have seeds and plants they love to donate, we'll go pick them up. And really just looking at each one of the locations is going to be a little bit different based on the school's personality. I think what's so important is the partnership between either the science or the ag teacher and the ESE teacher, because when we visited so many of the schools, that partnership just develops immediately, and it's so important for our students moving forward. With the Fans Club, we're going to rely on our older students to go talk to our little ones, because we can tell them that carrots are really good for you, but it's different coming from, you know, a high school athlete than either one of us. So we're really looking forward to expanding that initiative at all levels and really just moving forward over the next 3 years. Just so excited about this partnership and this opportunity.
Absolutely. Any questions?
I just wanted to just share with you guys, I know where there's 16 acres y'all can use.
We'll talk after the meeting, Mr.
right.
James, absolutely.
It's on Vanguard property, the 16 acres. The 16 acres that we purchased, and we were thinking about a football stadium and thinking like that. Troy, go out there and look. We bought school board, bought 16 acres out there. So when you look at this project, there's 16 acres that is undeveloped property out there. So when we look at a project such as this, just remember that we do have some additional properties that we bought out there. So I just wanted to just share that with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Marion, did you know we had that out there?
That's a lot of lettuce, sir.
I like it. You know, you said a lot of lettuce, but we're gonna hopefully provide all our schools in Marion County with lettuce, so we need a lot of lettuce.
And hopefully we'll even cross, once all the high schools and the middle schools are up and going in the years to come, if this partnership continues to flourish, there will be a cross-sector of tomatoes coming from one section and cucumbers coming from another, and some microgreens, and, you know, sending boxes home with our homeless kids of actual really good, healthy
Yes.
food. And not that we're not grateful for what goes out now, but let's get them something other than something in a box.
Yes.
All right.
We have big plans for this relationship.
This
Absolutely.
is exciting, and
Very
thank you so much
exciting.
for this partnership.
Oh, no, thank you
Yes.
for the partnership. We're very excited.
Dr. Mayer.
And I just wanted to add to another thank you to Mr. Broman in the hospital district and Ms. Potter. Because of the existing partnership that we had, the hospital district donated recess equipment to each one of our elementary schools, so that if a child wants to have child-directed play, like a baseball or soccer, they have the balls, they have the nets, they have materials for every classroom in every elementary school. So thank you, Ms. Potter, thank you, Mr. Broman, on behalf of the hospital district. That was huge.
That is huge. When, at first I thought, well, it was for the school. But when you said classroom.
Yeah,
that
so
is-
there's enough for the
that is
classrooms in each
wonderful.
school.
Thank
Mhm.
you so much.
Yes.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're happy.
All right, Dr. Jonathan Grantham, Deputy Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, would like to introduce first-time principals for the 2017-18 school year.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Board Member, Superintendent, and Mr. Gibbs. Welcome. We had a lot of fun in the hallway. We have brand-new principals, so I told them, are you ready for your first address to the board? You have your speech ready, and they were wigging out. And I let it go on until about 10 minutes ago, so I enjoyed it, so I hope they did. We have two new principals. Two are not here tonight, but I'm going to introduce them and read a short bio. I'm going to ask them to stand by, and then I would like to do a picture with the board so we can tweet it and let everybody know who they are. Our first principal at Greenway Elementary is Miss Jamie North. She's unable to attend. She is one of the schools that received the 21st Century Grant. Jamie holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Florida, a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from Grand Canyon University, and is currently finishing her doctorate of education in organizational leadership. She is originally from Marion County and a Vanguard High School graduate. She has been an educator for 14 years in Columbia, Alachua, and Hillsborough counties. Jamie is excited to return back to Ocala where she can reconnect and serve with her friends and family as the principal of Greenway Elementary. And even though she's not here, can we give Jamie a round of applause? Maybe she's watching. Our second principal that is at a conference at College Board that's required for us as a district is Miss Ginger Cruz. Ginger holds a bachelor's of business administration from the University of Tennessee, a master's of business administration from St. Leo University, and an educational specialist from Nova Southeastern University. Ginger began her career at the College of Central Florida before coming to MCS as a teacher at Lake Ware Middle School, Westport High School, and the Career and Technical Education Department. In 2016, she was promoted to the Assistant Principal of Instruction at Westport High School. Ginger is now the proud principal of Westport High School. Can we give Ginger a round of applause? Miss Elizabeth Brown, who was first to do her presentation, holds a bachelor's degree from East Texas Baptist College and a master's degree in educational leadership from the University of South Florida. Elizabeth began her educational career in 1992, teaching English at the high school and middle school levels in Louisiana, Arkansas, and Florida. Elizabeth then moved to the Dean of Students in Polk County, where she was ultimately promoted to assistant principal. Elizabeth began her career with MCPS as a professional development specialist at North Marion High School, where she was promoted to the assistant principal of instruction, and most recently, Ms. Brown was promoted to the principal of North Marion High School. Miss Melissa Forsyth. Melissa holds a bachelor's degree in social studies from the University of Central Florida and a master's degree in educational leadership from St. Leo University. Melissa began her career as a teacher with MCPS in 2004 at Forest High School and then Bellevue High School. In 2008, she was the District Rookie Teacher of the Year. In 2012, Melissa was promoted to the Assistant Principal of Curriculum at Liberty Middle School and was most recently promoted to be the Principal of Liberty Middle School. Ms. Shay Gwynn. Shay holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education and a master's degree in educational leadership from St. Leo University. She is also a board-certified behavior analyst. The 17-18 school year marks the start of Shay's 16th year with the district. She has been a paraprofessional, teacher, dean, interim guidance counselor, testing coordinator, reading coach, behavior specialist, analyst, school coordinator, and district ESE coordinator in Citrus County. Shay joins us as the principal at Marion Oaks Elementary. Ms. Diane Leinebach. Diane holds a bachelor's degree in physical education from the University of Florida and a master's degree in educational leadership from St. Leo University. Diane began her career as an athletic trainer and a math teacher at Dunellen High School. Diane has served as Dean of Students at Westport Middle, Assistant Principal of Discipline at Bellevue High, Danella Middle, Liberty Middle, and the Assistant Principal of Instruction and Curriculum at Westport High, Assistant Principal on Assignment of School Development Evaluation, and the Assistant Principal of Curriculum at North Marion Middle. Diane now has been promoted to the Principal of Oak Crest Elementary School. Mr. Don Mayer. Don holds a bachelor's degree in business from St. Leo University and a master's degree in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern. Don retired from active duty Army in 2003 and began his MCPS career working as a school sub at Westport Middle School. He soon moved into a full-time teaching position and served as the Dean of Students at Bellevue Middle School, Assistant Principal of Discipline at North Marion and Lake Weir High Schools, Assistant Principal of Instruction at Lake Weir High School, and Assistant Principal of Curriculum at Forest High School. Don has now been promoted to the Principal at Horizon Academy at Marion Oaks. Mr. Wade Martin. Wade holds a bachelor's degree from the University of South Florida and a master's degree in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern. Wade began his teaching career at Dowdell Middle School Magnet in Tampa, where he also served as the athletic director. He then progressed to become the Magnet coordinator at Young Middle School Magnet. From there, he was promoted to the assistant principal at Robinson High School. Wade now joins us as the principal of the Nellen High School. I'm going to say his name, not Wade. I'm going to say what we call him. This is Lamar Rembert. I'm not going to say Bernard. Holds a bachelor's degree in political science from Furman University and a master's degree in educational leadership from Grand Canyon University. He began his MCPS educational career in 2005 at Spar Elementary. He has served as Dean of Students at Spar, Maplewood, and Legacy Elementary. In 2015, he was appointed to the assistant principal at Madison Street Academy. Lamar has now been promoted to the principal of Maplewood Elementary. Ms. Jolene Vining. Jolene holds a master's degree in administration from Grand Canyon University. She has been an educator for over 15 years and has served the last 3 years as the principal of McIntosh Area School. Her guidance and leadership resulted in that school moving from an F to an A school. Jolene joins Marion County Public Schools as the principal of Reddick Collier Elementary School. So, board members, I'm going to ask the privilege of you. I'm going to bring them to kind of talk to you. Can you give them some words of wisdom? Because they're going to need it. So if you might have been a former principal before, I would love for you to speak at this time. So everybody please come up and listen to their words of wisdom, please.
You know what?
James, we'll begin with Mr. James.
Well, I can wait. But being a first-year principal, and I think some of you have heard this before, it's more important to know what not to do than what to do. It's more important to know what to say, what not to say, than what to say. As you begin your career, take that into every conference that you have, whether it's parents or with your students, because that's very important. You say the wrong thing, we're in trouble. So it's more important to remember those things. Another thing I want to remind you, the sun's going to come up in the morning. No matter how bad it is or how bad a day you have, the sun's going to come up in the morning. Every day, you'll be faced with an emergency. There will be a crisis that will enter your door every day. It may not seem like it's a crisis to you, but it's a crisis to the person that's bringing it to you. Be patient. Be fair. Be as kind as you can, but be fair and firm. That's what I have.
Being a good leader is about surrounding yourself with outstanding people that can help you get to where you need to go. Being a good leader is also that person that when your staff walks into the room, they know the person they're going to get, the person that listens, the person that doesn't fly off the handle, the person that ask them for solutions to help solve the problems. That's being a good leader. Good luck to all of you.
Well, I'm not sure we're done. Let us, and then we'll, Ms. Boynton.
Try it. We'll try it. We're gonna try it, okay? I think the one thing that you all can do is always positive. No matter what, remember, you have to be positive with, not just with yourself, but the parents and your students. The more how everything is good, you go up higher. Just go up higher. If you're going down, go up higher. For every student, their grades go down, go up higher, and show them that if you can say I'm going up, they're going to keep going up too. That I do know. And I'm so proud of you all of you. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Ms. Stacy.
And I echo what Mrs. Boynton said. A leader knows they're a leader when they look behind them and there's a lot of people behind them, following them. If you look behind you and there's no one there, you probably need to go recheck and re-examine what you're doing. But it looks like you have a lot of people behind you right now. So you're starting out with a big crowd behind you. And I look forward to that crowd just growing. And just as an administrator, just to be sweet. I've known Miss Shea since she was a little girl. She is just sweet. She is going to be the type principal, as a parent, I would want to knock on her door and say, can I sit and chat with you about an issue at my school? Because I know she will listen. And I thank you for giving Shay the opportunity to show what she can do, because she's my special one. And thank you.
I'm just going to congratulate you guys on your position. And we say it's new, but I've seen probably most, if not all of you, at some point during this summer already working. And I have the most confidence in you guys, and I look forward to watching your many successes. And so thank you and good luck. Thank you.
Members, y'all stand so I can see you, so we can hang on. Thank you all very much.
Academically focused, guys. Academically focused school can achieve great things.
Congratulations.
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 Welcome. And you have.
Congratulations.
And academically focused school.
Congratulations.
I am.
Raise her.
Hey, I missed you Saturday. I called and I talked with everybody Saturday, but I missed you. And
I'm
down at
excited
the
to watch you
open
guys
house.
grow
Yeah, so I missed you there.
develop and
All
have
right.
all these
Take care.
parents behind you.
Take care, my friends.
Walking across with all these parents behind you.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Good.
Good luck.
Good seeing you.
Hey, I'm proud of you, man.
Mr. Mayor?
Academically focused school can achieve great things.
That's my ex-husband.
All right.
Yeah. That's Marion County, Mr. Gibbs, yeah. It's like days of our lives. You know?
Okay, all right, so Dr. Grantham would like to recognize 6 employees for rendering aid to a fellow employee who was suffering from a medical emergency.
Good evening again. There are 2 people that we don't open the mic to, and you've heard from one tonight. There's another one coming tonight. I'm kidding. Mr. Lopez. He can get after it when you give him an open floor. So we've talked to him in the hallway a little bit. We had a near-death experience happen in our building. It was I was not there, and I kept hearing this buzz about it, and we started reaching out, and we kept hearing things, and literally the folks that you're about to meet saved someone's life, I believe. And we don't want to take those those lightly. We want to make sure we honor those people that do that. So I'm going to ask Mr. Lopez to come and kind of tell his story and tell what happened that day. And just to let you know that as painful as some of the discussions we may have and some of the things we may do, this was a life-changing event. So Mr. Lopez.
Good evening, member of the board, Dr. Meyer. I'm here just as spokesperson for this group of wonderful people that kind of had the unfortunate luck of being with us when this incident happened. But I hope they will share what I have to say about that. A few months ago, while I was talking about student services here to the board, I made a statement that I was honored to work with what I thought were the most talented and caring group of people you can hope to assemble in one place. Well, today I'm here to tell you about an incident that illustrates what that statement meant. I was walking to meet a group of colleagues with our fellow worker, Tom Butler from the Social Work Services Department. And as we walked through the breezeway and MTI to another location to meet this group of colleagues, he got bitten by a wasp. And he made a statement, you know, I'm allergic to these things. But he said, but I don't think it's going to be a serious situation because it didn't really bite me hard. It just kind of grazed me. So we kept on walking, and in a matter of a minute, when we get to our place where we were supposed to meet, I started noticing that his reaction time was slowing. I asked him, are you sure you're okay? He said, yes, I'm okay. I just need to sit down for a little bit, and I'll be okay. Well, I noticed that he was deteriorating progressively, was having difficulty breathing, and I actually reached out to Chris Sandy, Andrew Simmons, and Elizabeth Lazar, and Jim Beck, and said, you know, he's having an allergic reaction, and I think this can be very serious. They quickly went into action, and while some of them went to get the defibrillator and the EpiPen, one of them got on the phone with 911. So I tried to keep him alert, and he was having difficulties reading and getting more and more difficult for him to catch a breath. So 911 immediately started giving us instruction, saying, you know, you need to be ready to do CPR or to use a defibrillator if he stops breathing. By that time, Lori Lynn Bowie and Madeline Sanchez has joined us. Unbeknown to me, Marilyn has run to her car and get an anti-allergic medication because they couldn't get hold of the EpiPen. By that time, Lori Lynn was already next to us with a defibrillator ready to go. So we were all reacting in a kind of a spur of a moment and trying to keep him alert. He tells me now he was aware of what's happening, but I noticed that he was really breathing hard. And at one point, I couldn't feel his pulse or his breathing. So I'm describing this incident, sounds like it was a day, but it really was in a fraction of about 7-8 minutes by the time the paramedics showed. But the important point that I'm trying to make is that you can call these actions heroic, but this is the kind of behavior and commitment and reaction that I witness every day with the professionals I have the honor to work every day. So everybody reacted exactly the way they were supposed to react. Everybody played a role. Everybody, play a role that maintain our colleagues together and alive. And I don't know if we are heroes. I don't know if we, save his life. But I know, again, that this critical incident, happened in the best place possible because we have people that are really very used to being graceful under pressure and able to, work as a team and support each other under any circumstances. So on their behalf, we want to say thank you for honoring us. Your recognition is appreciated. But for us, the greatest recognition is to have our colleague back with us, joking and carrying on like we always do. Thank you for your recognition. Chris Sandy is here, which needs no introduction. Madeline Sanchez, Andrea Simmons, Ms. Lazar, but by the way, volunteered to do CPR because I was refusing to do it. I'm just kidding. Lori Lee Bowie, Jim Beck, and our friend Tom. Come on.
Yeah, we need
Tom is the person we have there.
Lopez, he was transported.
He was transported. The paramedics got there under 10 minutes, about 7 minutes, and by that time, we already have him laying out on the floor, keeping him alert, providing first aid, but there was no need to use the defibrillator or to use, any other extreme measure, but they were able to pretty much stabilize him and take him to the hospital. He was back with us the very same afternoon, and I was saying, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I have some things to do." So
He's dedicated.
we were glad to see him.
Oh, my goodness.
I think you were being modest when you said that you guys were not heroes. You guys are heroes. You had a plan, and it was in place, and you guys were all coming together for Mr. Butler. And Mr. Butler, we're glad you're here and you're well and healthy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you did for this gentleman. So that shows that good leaders, you were calm, you had a plan, and you worked together. So thank you, and we are very glad you're here, Mr. Butler.
Thank you so.
And I know a lot of times when you are about to have an allergic reaction, something's happening, people around you if you know you're safe, the people around you, they've called 911, they've done what they need to do. That really helps the heart not to race into and spread that venom through your body really fast. But, so that speaks for people that have been educators. They've been around children and the education system, and they know to remain calm, because when you get excited, the victim, his heart's going to start beating and everything's going to start traveling fast. And so that's definitely, if I had been there, you probably would have died because I'd have been screaming. Oh, that would have just been that. We would, I'm so thankful I wasn't there.
I just want to say, you all epitomize what teamwork is about. Each one of you grasped an assignment and you completed that assignment. And the end product is we have someone that's standing beside you tonight. And I just want to congratulate you on achieving your assignment, and the leadership and the direction and the clear mission. You accomplished it. Job well done. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I will now ask the board's attorney to explain the rules governing persons who wish to address the school board tonight.
In compliance with Florida's Sunshine Law, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who wish to speak at tonight's meeting, either regarding one of tonight's agenda items or a matter relating to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures is available from the table in the hallway. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms due to the school board's assistant no later than 5:40 p.m. Tonight's speakers will be called prior to the business portion of the school board's meeting in the order of receipt. Based on time consideration, the school board, by majority vote, can decide to limit the number of presentations on any one topic, shorten presentation times, move public time to a different position on tonight's agenda, or eliminate the public comment time for this meeting, and any other. Before you begin speaking, please state your full name and address and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 5 minutes. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees must conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Therefore, verbal attacks, slanderous statements, and profanity are strictly prohibited. Unsolicited commercial solicitations are also prohibited. If there are matters dealing with student discipline, including expulsions, they will be scheduled at the conclusion of the televised portion of this meeting. Parents may address the board regarding a discipline matter at that time. Keep in mind for future meetings that speakers may use handouts or audiovisual presentations, but only if they are provided at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. They must also have a total length of 5 minutes or less. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use a student's first or last name. Identifying references to or identification of other students and/or their families are also strictly prohibited. Thank you for your attention to the board's requirements. Madam Chair, that concludes my explanatory remarks.
Thank you. Ms. Fluckeder?
I have Thomas Cartwright.
You have to wake up.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Cartwright, C-A-R-T-W-R-I-G-H-T, 1301 Northeast 14th Street here in Ocala. I am an attorney here in Ocala, and I was elected in the last general election to the Marion County Soil and Water Conservation Board. I'm hoping you people might know what it is. If you don't, a quick synopsis. We are an agency for the state that funnels money to Marion County through FDACs to provide projects for environmental and issues. We get an administrative fee. Part of that administrative fee gives us money to provide awards for contests. That's why I'm here tonight. We provide contests for the students at every level. Our most popular is the poster art, founder junk art, speech contest, essay contest, environmental tray, and the outdoor team envirothon project. Each one of those projects over the years has been up and down depending upon the level of student participation. But because this year we got a heavy increase in the amount of money we were designed to allocate, $440,000, our administration fees went up. So then my pet projects, the education projects, our awards went up. So now we can offer $100 awards to all the students who win these projects, $50 for second, and the more participation, the more we'll have money to provide to the students. The biggest thing, and the reason to be in front of you, is that we also provide $1,000 now to the teachers who provide the students for these contests, and that money goes to the classrooms. So in essence, it helps the schools. So Marion Soil and Water Conservation actually is very involved in trying to help the schools. And again, another reason to be in front of you tonight, and I apologize, we were supposed to have examples of our projects, and I don't know where they are. I apologize for that. Is that we were here about 7 years ago, and I wanted to come in front of you again so that you understand, if you see our projects, that you now know about them, and that you don't think that the Marion Soil Water Conservation Board is going behind your back to try to provide educational products to the school without your knowing about it. That's really it.
Well, thank you. I think you're the icing on the cake tonight. We've heard a lot of wonderful stories, and we appreciate you coming before us. I am going to direct you to Dr. Grantham, and he'll get you in touch with the teachers and lead you in the...
We already have our network, but again, we started to feel like we were maybe stepping on your toes. And we didn't want anybody to think that we were just going behind the scenes to provide these projects, because with the size of the allocations, the money, and the increase in our administration fees, actually the participation has started to increase, because this gives an opportunity to students in an outlet, artistic, oral, whatever, for environmental issues. And similar to what you talked about tonight, if we get the kids when they're young, for our point of view, water and soil, they're only going to grow up to be better environmentalists in the future. And the kids love the poster projects. They're amazing posters.
Well, you mentioned that you didn't bring the projects tonight, so maybe, when does the project end? Is there a date and a timeline?
Actually, they're going to start in 2 or 3 weeks, and we usually end in March. We have our awards ceremony in March.
Okay, well,
And
maybe I, in March, would invite you to come with maybe the top awards and encourage them to bring the projects. We would love to see them.
The poster art's the most popular, but the found art, the junk art, the things that kids can do with plastic and scraps is pretty cool. So, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have another speaker?
Is Mr. Ward, Fred Ward, present? No.
No. Okay, then we'll move along. May I have a motion to adopt revised board policy 2.95 wellness program?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Ms. Boynton.
This board policy has been revised to reflect updates to laws, policies, and best practices in the area of student and staff wellness.
I declare a public hearing. Is there anyone present who wishes to address this revised board policy? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. There we go. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, C10.1-C23.4 as submitted?
Second.
I'm like,
Wait a minute.
it was moved by Ms. Boynton, second by Mr. James. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve this 2016-17 Annual Equity Update Report?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Boynton, seconded by Mr. James. Dr. Mayer, you wished to discuss this item.
Well, I wanted the presentation for you this evening because as it was a team effort to pull the data together for this. The hard work of this substantial report was done by the Director of Equity Assurance, Ms. Rose Cohen. And so I wanted her to share the celebrations of the progress that we've made and then to share with you how we are going to fix the needs that we still have. So, Ms. Cohen.
Good evening, and thank you, Madam Chair, Superintendent, board members. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you tonight. It is indeed a pleasure to present the equity plan to you. We submit this annually to the Department of Education, spend quite a bit of months working on it. Takes a lot of collaboration to get this thing put together, so we're pleased because it shows us a clear picture of who we are, what we're doing, and methods and strategies that we're going to put together to improve on this. There's always room for improvement, and this kind of just gives us that visual that we will be improving on what we've already submitted, or what we propose to submit it. The annual equity plan is a mandate that all school districts must submit. And it's broken into 7 parts, and I'm going to go through each part with you except one because that's not applicable to us. Part 1 consists of procedural requirements. DOE wants to know if we are in compliance. The law mandates that we have policies and procedures in place in compliance to the law, showing that we are compliant and that we are adhering to the law to protect our employees, our students, and our stakeholders. And first and foremost, it's driven by our statement that we do provide protection on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, age, marital status, pregnancy, genetic information, and religion. We do have school board policies that's labeled somewhat as civil rights policies that adheres to all of these things. Some of those policies under Part 1 is our grievance policies, our harassment policies, all of those are mandated. Our protection of students with AIDS, HIV, the Boy Scouts, right? All of these are policies that we are mandated to have. Our anti-discrimination policies, all of those. There's a list of them. We are required annually to report to the Department of Education if there are any changes, any modifications, or if there are new and additional policies governing civil rights. We have not had any changes to be reported this year, so we're good in that area. Part 2 consists of any incomplete items or pending items. So when we submit our annual equity report to the Department of Education, they monitor it very closely. They look at it, and occasionally they will send it back and say, we need stronger strategies, or tell us about this method, or give us more clarification in this particular area. Those are things that they go over and review, and usually around January or February, we'll get a monitoring report back that would have all of those to-do things on it. We don't have any to report this year. We did get a few back. We submitted those earlier, so at this time, we have none to report as incomplete items. We have been in the past years getting very, very good reviews, by the way, from DOE on our annual equity report as far as reporting what's going on in our school district. Now, part 3, methods and strategies. Part 3 addresses strategies that we need to put in place to increase enrollment in our underrepresented population. We need to put in place what we're planning to do for that underrepresented group of students, which consists of blacks, Hispanics, black males, and Hispanic males. That's the group that DOE has targeted as underrepresented. They want to know, are we doing everything we possibly could do to ensure we're increasing that population of students' enrollment in our advanced courses? They want to see who's enrolled, what the percentage of enrollment is, what are our expectations, what strategies we have put in place to continue growth, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to examine some of those things and just kind of take a look to see what we look like based on our enrollment of that underrepresented group. We want to take a look to see what percentage we have in our AP courses, our dual enrollment, or our level 3 courses. Over the years, we have made great progress. Do we have room for improvement? Absolutely. Will we continue to improve? Absolutely. So we are working diligently in that area, and I think we have a very good group of administrators that have bought into the idea that we need to be better. So that's our goal. So how did we do this year? And we're reporting 2016-17 school year. So how did we do? Overall, black students, Hispanic students, black and Hispanic male students showed improvement as far as increasing enrollment in our advanced placement courses. Hispanic students, black students showed a 5% increase. Black males showed a 7% increase. Hispanic students, 8% increase, and Hispanic male students, 6%. I'm pleased. I see great progress. I've been involved in this for a number of years. I've seen our numbers a whole lot worse. So I'm thrilled when I see those kind of gains. The benchmark for this, established by DOE, was 2012, 2013, 3 years. So that's what they're basing their information on. So how did we do when it comes to dual enrollment? Dual enrollment overall has been low all across, even for white students. As far as black students, Hispanic students, they remain pretty steady. Black students are at 3%. Hispanic stayed right there at 4%. 4%. We did see a mild increase in black male students, 1 percentage point increase, and Hispanic students showed a 2% increase with our dual enrollments. So let's look at level 3. I'm really, really thrilled with level 3 because this shows that our students, if you take a look at those percentages there, there's more than 50% Hispanic students that are enrolled in at least one level 3 class. So that's excellent. As far as black students are concerned, I'm equally thrilled. 6 percentage points, they're up to 45% of that population of students being enrolled. So that's a good thing. But we're doing good, but we can do a whole lot better. Therefore, we cannot become complacent, and we'll take a look at some of the methods and strategies that we need to get going to ensure that we have proper methods and strategies in place to do this. And thanks to Mr. McAteer, he jumped right in. That was his first year, and he just was so helpful in helping to compile this information on methods and strategies. As far as methods and strategies that we're going to look at to try to address improving the underrepresented enrollment in some of these courses, we're going to learn to share data more frequently. First of all, the information that I've presented is overall district information. We want each school, we want to charge each principal for monitoring their individual schools' numbers so that they can have an idea where they are. We will look at sharing data. We're going to look at those schools with the higher level of underrepresented students in courses. Talk to them, have conversation to find out, what they're doing. Address their and share best practices. We'll continue removing whatever barriers we need to remove by providing whatever support financially. Continue paying their tuition for dual enrollment. Continue paying for I think it's the sophomores, to take the PSAT. So we're going to begin to get a little aggressive on these kind of areas so that we can increase our underrepresented enrollment in some of these higher classes. We know that only equals success for our students, and when our students are successful, our community is successful. So we're very, very thrilled that we have a visual view of the work yet to be done, but at the same time, I'm thrilled that we have made progress in this area. We're going to move on now to gender equity, Title IX. It covers a whole lot more than sports, but I'm going to zoom in on sports for right now. We report a lot of information to the Department of Education on equity in athletics. I normally, at the beginning of the school year, I meet with, his name just... Jody Phillips. I usually meet with Jody and the athletic directors to go over our expectations of when we're expecting their rosters to come in. We work very closely with them to explain what's required of them throughout the year, throughout the school year. We collect all of their sports rosters, and we monitor who's enrolled, how many students are enrolled, and how many sports are being offered, because that's very critical. We collect their fall sports rosters, we collect their winter and their spring rosters, and we're monitoring those throughout the year, capturing that data. And then, at the very end, when we ask them to present all of their athletic information, we compare to see, okay, he reported 50 students, why is there 70 students? So we come together, we find a discrepancy, and we fix it. We need all that information for reporting. There are basically 9 areas to going too far. Excuse me. There are basically 9 areas of either being in compliance. Oops. Okay. I gotta learn how to control my fingers here.
Kick it in gear here. We're running short on time, dear.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. So anyway, there are 9 areas that DOE looks at to determine whether or not a school district is in compliance or not in compliance. Unfortunately, if one of those areas for one school is out of compliance, then the entire school district is out of compliance. And unfortunately, we were out of compliance this year, but I'm not sweating over that, and I'm not saying it's an excuse because almost every school district is. It's very difficult because the first prong that they give us is that you have to have a certain percentage of females enrolled in sports equal to males, equal to the percentage of enrollees. We fall short in that area. And we fell short this year simply because we didn't make the numbers for the junior varsity, on the junior varsity side at one school. Okay, I'm going to hurry quickly. This is Part 5, Employment Equity. I think you can take a quick look up there, and I asked the question, do we look like our community, and do we look like our students? Because this is the ultimate goal. Ideally, the employment population should reflect the community and the school population. Based on the latest demographics that I received, our community is right close to being at 14% blacks and 13% Hispanics. Students, based on information provided from DOE, our black student population is at 20%, and our Hispanic population is at 22%. We are required to desegregate the data for district-level administrators, principals, assistant principals, teachers, and guidance. You can take a look there on the black side where it shows black community percentages. We came real close to some. We made it through some. But if you take a quick glance over where it says the Hispanic population is 13%, student population 22%, we're missing it a long ways. But we know what we have to work towards. This is an area that I think we would all agree needs work. And of course, I met with Philip Leopard. He has put different strategies in place. I appreciate that, Philip, where he believes that we need to revisit going out to visit the historical black colleges again. We need to aggressively recruit with minorities in mind. And so we have some things put in place that we will be following through on that. Now, the last area that I would like to talk to you about is our Teen Parent, or YPP program, that's here at Marion County. Overall, and I apologize because I put Teen Mom, because teen dads are also included in this particular area of our YPP program. We're mandated by law to offer equal opportunities for our teen parents as we offer for any other student. We must remove any barriers that will hinder them from having that same opportunity. We offer courses, child care, transportation, et cetera, et cetera. This law mandates that we offer them that. We give them resources. We give the student the option of going to their own school. We don't force them because they're with child. We don't force them because they've already had a child. that they cannot go to their regular school, we give them the option. They can either attend their traditional high school, or they can attend the other program that's specifically designed for their needs. So, this is our equity plan, folks. It's presented to you for approval, so we can get it off to DOE. I appreciate your time. The books will be available to you. Brenda keeps them on hand, in-house. At any point in time, you can look through and examine the content. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's obvious that this is a monumental task for someone who has a lot of other things on their plate as well. And Rose does a fantastic job, not just in monitoring, but in moving the program along, and we appreciate it tremendously. Thank you.
Let me just share this. Ms. Cohen, I know how difficult that job is, and I just want to commend you for the number of years that you have really worked to keep us in compliance with it. I know when we start talking in terms of athletics and keeping the girls and boys kind of balanced, I know how difficult that is, and I know how challenging it is as well. So again, we want to thank you on behalf of all the coaches and the people that really is affected by this. I know you keep up with the Florida High School Association and look at all of those things that they do, and I know when we look at what we're doing with our employees, I know that you are constantly reminding us that we need to do more in those particular areas. So thanks for a job well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so with no further discussion, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And those that oppose, like sign.
Mr. James, your vote's not coming in.
Oh, okay.
And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to remove from the table the following motion? Approve the outside counsel agreement with Michael C. Saboni with Saboni and Buchanan PLLC.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Mr. James.
Vote. Need to vote.
I'm going to discuss this.
Okay. All right, so all of those in favor signify by saying aye. From removing it from the table.
Aye.
And the motion carried 5-0. The motion to approve the outside counsel agreement with Michael C. Saboni with Saboni and Buchanan PLLC is now on the floor and open for discussion. Ms. McCall, did you mentioned it, I think, first.
Yes, I know that we asked to see if Mr. Saboni would take a different fee. And Dr. Ham, did anybody have a discussion with him about lowering the fee?
Yes, ma'am. At the last board meeting, before you retabled it, I actually left the meeting, spoke with him and returned, and indicated that he is not willing to take the $200 fee that the board had mentioned. And
Do you have any other?
Well, I don't want the superintendent not to have her choice. I'm not sure that I want to pay that much, but at the same time, I also, this is who she wants. It is, according to those that know, it is a reasonable fee for attorneys. So I think my solution to this would be to allow this to happen, but readdress it in a year to see if we are not seeing as many cases come before us. If this person is winning, I don't want to tell her who her choice should be for that. I'm not happy with that fee based on what we've seen, but I also, it is her attorney. So that's my solution.
Ms. Stacy?
Okay. I've done a little study. I've taken the last 4 complete years of attorney salaries, ending 2014, 15, 16, and 17. They came and when I added them all up, one year it was 74,000, one year it was 45, one year it was 92, this past year it was 60,000. It came to $273,188. I divided that by 4 to get an average of what we've paid in 4 years, which is 68,000 basically, 68,297. I then took the difference in pay between the 175 that we've been paying. We had an excellent attorney in Gary Sanders. I mean, he's gone on to be a judge. There was never any he never asked to increase his salary or anything. But his percentage from 175 to the 275 is basically a 64% increase in hourly wage, okay? So you would assume that with the similar hours I've averaged, times the 68,297 average, would be a $43,700 increase in attorney fee. So our average would go from basically 68,000, that's my average over 4 years. You add the 43,000, we jump to 112,000. I called the transportation department today and spoke with Mrs. Rohr and to find out what does an average field trip cost. I said, just give me an example from Evergreen to the Appleton. And between fuel cost and bus driver cost, the cost was $97. You take the $97 and divide it into the $43,000, you can basically do 450 field trips a year with that amount of money. That is essentially 14 field trips per elementary school. Or you can look at it another way. We can take that $43,000 because we never have enough money for field trips, we never have enough money for summer programs. And Mr. James, you spoke the other day about a program at Howard Academy that we'd like to do something for the students, the underprivileged students who don't have transportation to get to some of the events that maybe my children or some of the other children might have. They don't have the transportation to get there. So keeping that in mind, I spoke again with Mrs. Rohr to find out how much would it cost this school board to do a 6-week summer program, get me a bus to bring the children from the Deer Run area, there are several low-cost housing areas over there, to give me a bus 4 days a week for 6. I said 4 days because we're off on Fridays. We did the calculations and it was $5,000 for 6 weeks of transportation costs for fuel and a bus driver from the closest bus barn to Deer Run and then to the Boys and Girls Club for part of the day, and then part of the day to go over to Howard Academy to have some music enrichment that we spoke about. Then I looked to see how much it will cost me to get a teacher to fund that program at Howard Academy for music enrichment, a music teacher. Came up with approximately $6,200 for a 6-week course, added to my $5,000 transportation. That is basically $11,000 for a 6-week program with a music teacher and transportation to get students there. The students in the projects could, for that 4-day week, say alphabet A through M could possibly go on Mondays and Wednesdays, and the rest of the alphabet could go Tuesdays and Thursdays for this enrichment. Oak Crest is an area where our school system is just in really serious trouble. We've got a great new strong principal, and we're hoping things will look up, but we've got a seriously in trouble school there. These are children from that area to teach them, to keep them interested in school, to teach them, and possibly Mrs. McGuire Mike could even get some of the parents out of that area that could do the background thing and everything, to be actual volunteers, to engage the parents in that area, to maybe be some volunteers in some of these programs with the, riding on the bus, just like we go on field trips with our students. When I looked at that, and I look at this $40-something thousand, this $43,000 difference, we could almost have 4 of those 6-week programs for students in the summer. It's amazing how far $43,000 can go if you just get creative. The previous superintendents have gone, we've had the regular, once we start raising the salaries and the all the other contract attorneys start here, we're setting a precedent that we're raising Marion County is a great place for attorneys to make a buck. And that's not what I want to be known for. I want to be known for a place where students, every penny that we have is spent for students. And if we've got $43,000 to spare, it's going to go, in my opinion, for students. Because I believe, like Mr. James said, we have the attorneys sitting here for student issues that we've been before. And it's really, can be very time consuming, can eat up a lot of the clock sitting here doing that. But I cannot support this increase. I must look at what I can do for students, especially the underprivileged, which is where my heart is with the underprivileged children that didn't have the opportunities that my children had. Our children, it's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. And I've got my funding, I've got it all checked out, and so if we can have 3 or 4 6-week sessions with this amount of money to enrich students in music and get our music teachers a summer job, I just feel that's a better way to spend the $43,000, and that's my opinion for what it's worth.
Mr. James, do you have any comment?
My comment is, I have a hard time with $275 an hour. And when I say that, I look at what we do in terms of the type of work that we are asking. I know we sit here with student discipline folders, files when we have students come in, and we have the superintendent's attorney. My thing is, I can't support $275 an hour. Am I correct? Is that what he's asking?
Yes.
Okay, now, you're telling me that there's nobody out there that's willing to drop us back to close what we had last year? That's a pretty good attorney, that's a good attorney? Because $275 an hour for me to listen to, for him to listen to discipline cases and things, and the other few things that he have, is hard for me. So I'm having a hard time with the money, not the quality of his work. I'm not questioning the quality of his work, but everybody look at the school system and look for us to be stewards of the money. And for me to do that, I'm not comfortable with the $275. I'd love to have him, but I want him to come back and try and meet us somewhere in the way, somewhere along the line. I can't support the $275.
Okay. I'm just posing this question because we didn't have a work session. Would it be possible if the board agreed to the $175, what it currently is, or the $200, I think, depending on the attorney, if we could cover that cost, I know the superintendent has her own accounts and funds. Would it be possible for her to cover that portion from her account? However, it's at her discretion.
This all comes out of her budget. This is not about your money and her money. We already have an attorney with Allen Norton and Blue that we pay $250 an hour. We have several hearings that have been delayed that he will now have to handle, and he commutes from Orlando. It will actually be cheaper to pay somebody in Ocala to handle those. The board policy, as I read it, says that the board shall pay for the superintendent's attorney. It doesn't have any caps or any limitations on that. All we're trying to do, we have to manage a $540 million budget. This is a small part of that. I understand how many field trips $43,000 would pay, but we give away half of that much just to charter schools without diminishing any of our overhead responsibilities to support the educational effort for 43,000 students. It's apples and oranges. The point here is that the superintendent, in a finite number of situations, needs to have an independent counsel. Mr. Gibbs is great as the board attorney, and there are a number of things that we can and do send to him for legal opinions. But in a hearing before the board, she has to have that independent counsel. We'll be forced to use what we have right now if you don't approve this. You're assuming that we're going to have the same number of billable hours for this year, but you also know that the variance from one year to the next is as much as from 43,000 to 91,000. So assuming that there's an average that means something there, I don't know. To a large extent, it depends on how well we do our work so that we don't need legal assistance on that sort of thing. I like the idea of trying it for a year and adjusting if we have to. But this, to me, is a reasonable direction to go to solve a problem that we have right now. And we ask your approval.
Well, my concern, when we look at things a year later, my experience on being the board, we have good intentions at looking at a year from now, but many times it's hard to remove a position or somebody that's in that place. That's my experience many times, or we neglect it and don't actually look at it. I don't know, is there any more discussion from?
Brandon and I have one.
Okay.
Now, I read this over the information that Nancy Stacy came and Mrs. Boston, the information for us for the years from 2014 to now. I'm standing with Nancy.
Mr. James, Ms. Stacy.
And like you said, one year, we went, we had a low of 45,000, but you said 43,000, so I'll just use that number because that's what I used to do my math. Had a low of 43,000, that was actually 45, but 43 to make my math work that I just did, because I did it before I looked at that. I did the math. Even at the lowest amount, 43,000, you take 64% of that, and you add 27,000 on it. Our lowest amount we could expect would be 70,000. So there will be no more 43,000s. I mean, the lowest of the 4 years will jump from 43, as you stated, to 70. So those days are gone.
Mr. James.
Even if he would have dropped to 250, then I would have been close, because I know we have some contractors, lawyers out there. But if he's holding at 275, I can't support that. But I do know that we do pay some attorneys 250, and that's for over a period of time that they have worked their way up to us. But to bring in a new guy in and say, hey, we're gonna give you 275, and the rest of these guys have worked their way up to that. I understand experience. He has some experience, so I don't have a problem with bringing him in with his experience, but I don't want him to be that far ahead of people that have been working with us for years. Mm-hmm. And that's what my concern is. I don't want to walk up here and just put him, because he's new to the system or whatever, put him so far ahead of the rest of the guys. And that's where I am with this thing.
Also, I know that under our lawyer, Mr. Blake, I think he worked for the superintendent then, and he would let our lawyer would go out and go out for information, because as I read for if they wanted to do, when I was looking for what they wanted to do, a lot of things about the records for the students. That's what I looked at for, and I said, no, I couldn't do this. I'm not going to give that, because I thought that if I looked to the lawyer that we had who went out from the superintendent, who would go out the information, and it didn't cost that much. So.
One more comment.
Yeah.
Regarding the one attorney that we do have, that we are paying the $250,000 to, you notice I voted yes on that contract. I voted yes, so I can bring it back at some point if I need to, because I was on the winning side, so I can bring it back.
$250,000
I mean, $250 an hour.
per hour for the Allen Norton and Blue
And
contract.
so I voted yes on that. Ms. King did not. I voted yes because I needed an avenue to bring it back as I further study this contract, and I am doing that. So, I don't support that either. And I only voted because I saw Mrs. King and I would be the only two opposing that. And it would go down, but by voting yes, I can bring it back before the board as I further investigate other districts and what they're paying for their bargaining lawyers, so.
Okay. All right, I think we're ready to move along. Okay. Okay, we're going to be voting on to remove the outside counsel agreement, legal services for the superintendent. All those in favor signify by saying aye, and those that have opposed, like sign. Nay.
To give it away.
And the motion did not pass with a vote of 4-1. May I have a motion to approve the following cash or tangible donations that have a total value of $256,503.80. $2,500 to Anthony Elementary School from the Laura Bush Foundation for America's Libraries. $11,000 to N.H. Jones Elementary School from the Dr. N.H. Jones Parent Organization. $4,000 to Denellen High School from the Morgridge Family Foundation. $1,000 to East Marion Elementary School from Circle K Store. $1,250 to Greenway Elementary School from Trinity Baptist Church. $1,000 to Hillcrest Public School from the Trust Fund of Jason Cottrell. $2,500 to Howard Middle School from their business partner, SIVA MDPA via the Public Education Foundation. $1,340.46 to Lake Weir Middle School from Lake Weir Alumni Association. $13,000 to Lake Weir Middle School from Closet Maid. $2,016.34 to Legacy Elementary School from Legacy Elementary PTO Incorporated. $200,000 to MCPS Facilities Department for a greenhouse at Vanguard High School from Monroe Regional Health System, Inc. $10,000 to MCPS Family Schools and Community Engagement Department for the Kingdom of the Sun Band concerts from Mr. and Mrs. Stan Hansen. $1,000 to MCPS School Social Work Services Department for the Homeless Needy Children's Program from Wells Fargo Foundation. $1,000 to Marion Technical College from Altrusa International of Ocala Foundation, Inc. $1,000 to Marion Technical College from Star and Shield Services, LLC. $1,000 to North Marion High School from their business partner, Cullison Wright Construction Corp. via the Public Education Foundation. $2,897 to Westport High School from STEM-based SBE for the mini grant SBE Film Production Company.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Mr. James. And after we vote, you want to thank him, Ms. Stacy? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Nice. And the motion passed 5-0. Ms. Stacy, would you like to?
Yes, I certainly would. I'd like to thank the community for the generosity and the, you know, when you sit down and you have $10,000 in your hand and you start thinking about the things that you can actually do with it, when you start thinking it can pay for, you know, it takes $100 to pay for a field trip for a school, and you find out how far that little bit of money will go, and then it just keeps getting added on and added on, not a little bit, it's a lot of money. And I want to thank everyone that's that's worked with our community, and it amazes me every 2 weeks where the money just rolls in and the volunteers roll in to support the programs in our school system. And we're working hard, and the school system's just getting better and stronger every day. And as we get bigger and better and stronger, I'm sure we'll have even more people maybe who hadn't even thought about contributing, maybe in, people that are inclined with music and that sort of thing. We have musicians in different ones that, as our music program, as the referendum continues, hopefully to fund our music and art programs for our schools. And I hope the community continues to do that for us, to go along with all of these great contributions that the community has given us. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Okay, a special school board. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna let them speak and then or should I give them?
That's up to you.
No, I'll do this first. Okay, sorry. A special school board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 1st. So that's this following, and we're not used to that, at 5:30 p.m. The purpose of this special meeting is to hold public hearings on the tentative budget, including tentative millage. There are 3 administrative briefings and work sessions scheduled for review of proposed 2017 through 18 budget. Each begins at 9 a.m. on Thursday, August 3rd, 2017, Wednesday, August 9th, 2017, Thursday, August 17th, 2017, if needed. School district returns to regular 5 days a week schedule, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on July 31st. Special work session will be on August 1st at 6:15 p.m. following the special school board meeting to review data and discuss information on Francis Marion Military Academy. Okay, so now we're going to move along with our board concerns. And Mr. James, we'll begin with you tonight.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I just have a couple of questions. Mr. Gibb, you came on board on July 1st?
My first day was July 5th.
July 5th? Okay. So when is Susan Green, when was her last day?
Her last day in the office, I can't attest to. She hasn't been there since I've been there. She's just kind of been consulting as needed.
Okay. I have a reason for that, and I would like to talk with the chairman or talk with the superintendent at some point in reference to this. And that's all I have at this time.
Okay, that's good. I think I know where you're going with this, maybe. Ms. Boynton?
Well, thank you. I'm just looking to, before I wasn't able to talk a lot, I used to go out and get the school board for the back to school supplies. So I started in doing that, put some things out already out, and I know we have the bus that we're working on, but I just wanted to make sure if someone wants to go out and do some more donations, because I've started going back some more. I'm trying to get much better, but I'm started now. Get some more back to schools for our students, and just wanted to, that's all I have for that. Thank you.
Ms. Stacy?
Yes. I belong to a different state school board association than my fellow board members. I'm on the executive board for the Florida Coalition of Florida School Board Members, and we had our leadership summit a week and a half ago in Tampa, and it was a nice 2-day meeting. We had the Speaker of the House to do our dinner, and we had the Senate President's wife is a fellow school board member that I serve with on the executive board. She's down in Martin County. And we had a great plan. We're looking at our legislative agenda for the upcoming year. One thing that was very concerning to us that I'll share with y'all that you might take back to your organization is the way the schools are graded. Parents can look at a school, and we know how they're graded. We know the bottom quartile really brings a school up. And so there's a school down in Collier County that actually only has 28% proficient in reading at 3rd grade, but yet they were scored an A because their lower quartile's doing so well. And so we're looking at ways to help parents with the school grade so they understand a little better, where we can adjust it in some, so we have some ideas that we would like to be, we will be addressing the legislative group about, to address the fact that the school grade doesn't always really represent what's happening inside those school walls. So we are on that. That's going to be one of our legislative agendas. And we have some other things we're doing, but I'll share that one with you. And we go back in August. We meet again in August, in the end of August, down in South Florida. And the Senate President will be our speaker there. So we hope that we will be accomplishing great things this year through the Florida Coalition of School Board Members. Thank you. Ms. McCall.
A couple of things. First of all, as the board knows, I was in Brevard County with our music art specialist, Ms. Jo Crowder, today, along with the Marion Cultural Alliance, on art education and integrating the art into the curriculum, and got some great ideas. Some more to come on that. I do have a concern. When we funded the family, school, and community engagement position, I had asked exactly what that position was going to do and said that I would like to have some goals and objectives, and we still haven't seen those goals and objectives. I know Ms. McGuire's been in the community doing things with the hospital district, which I truly believe belongs in Mr. Vianello's department. She worked with the Kingdom of the Sun project, but the first word in this job title is family, and I don't think some of those needs are being met. And I know that some of our social workers have been a little frustrated over the summer that they had some kids that needed things and weren't quite getting there. I also know we have a stockpile of things. We're doing Stuff the Bus, but we have a ton of stuff in portables that are not getting out to our students, and we need a plan to get that stuff. If we can't use it, we need to get it to Interfaith, United Way, Tools for Teaching. We need to put a plan in place so that that's not sitting in portables, but that it's getting out. So I'm going to suggest that we have a work session on this position. I would like us to have a 3-year plan with the top 5 priorities of this position, with family engagement being the top priority. What is the rationale for each of those priorities? Who is the target audience for each of those? I need a first, second, and third year implementation plan, the timeline, and measurable outcomes for each of those priorities, so that we can really see if this position that we think is important in our system can really meet those needs. And because I don't think that it's doing what we intended for it to do. So I see a lot of engagement in the community, but I haven't seen a lot of family stuff. So I would like to suggest that Suzanne work with whoever she works with.
Don't use names.
That
Use position,
that
not the
this
name.
position works with whoever and come up with exactly what is this position doing. So it's a director's position, and I think it has value, but I really want to see the plan.
Okay. Ms. Blockcutter, we can put that on our schedule at one of our work sessions. And I'll come back with you guys on a date on that.
Okay.
We'll do that. Okay, Mr. Gibbs,
I've got nothing. Thank you.
Ms. Blockcutter, do you have anything? Dr. Mayer?
Thank you. Hello, board, and hello, everybody. We would first like to say thank you to Officer Snow from the OPD. Thanks for sitting in with us tonight. It was a long one for you. My goodness. Thanks for hanging in there with us. And you came with your water and everything. You were great. So thank you for that. And thanks for taking care of our community every day. And you might consider being an SRO one day, because that's one of the best jobs there could be, besides being a teacher.
I hear it has its moments.
Yes, yes. but if you ever want to be a teacher, let us know too. Let us know too. Board, at your each seat, you have a cluster of little gifts. And Ms. Dobbins, could you stand for just a moment? Ms. Dobbins put together the Superintendent Leadership Academy that was last week, and she had all of these items donated, so no tax money was used for these. The notepads were bought with regular office supply money, but everything else she had donated by sponsors. And so each principal, each assistant principal, coordinator, and certain selected other district administrators had these awesome gifts, and you'll notice the colors.
Yeah.
But Ms. Dobbins, thank you so much for putting on such a quality leadership academy. Last week we had the pleasure of Ms. King popping in to say hello, and it was just so well done. So thank you so much. And you again, and Dr. Underwood this week with our new teachers are just another example of the great team that we have together, have put together, and that all of you, as well as every one of my employees, I stand behind, and I think they are doing a fabulous job, and we will have their back to the nth degree. So as we move forward with that too, I need to make an apology to some of our teachers, particularly our elementary teachers, who have taught with fidelity. And
I was like, you're apologizing to me too.
I am, because you had to use this. Our elementary teachers who struggled and taught with fidelity and stuck to the textbook like you were told to do, did not deviate from the curriculum map, because that's what previous leadership told you had to do for those kids, but in your heart, you knew something was wrong. I'm sorry, because we know that our elementary reading curriculum is so off base. I was working with Miss Gerlach as she put together the summer reading academy, reading trainings for our teachers. And as we sat down and we looked through this, I didn't realize it was this bad. The phonics instruction is so off base, it's no wonder our students are struggling to read. And it's no wonder our teachers were so frustrated with it. So to our teachers, again, I apologize. To the taxpayers who had to fund this, I apologize. But just know that we have identified the issue and we are working on it, and we are correcting it. While this curriculum still has a part with the literature-based and the stories and such, we will be supplementing it with a firm research-based phonics curriculum. So our students will be okay. They'll be okay. Okay, and also I wanted to share that today you weren't able to join me, and you missed a day. Today is the usual day that Ms. King and I go and explore the district a little bit, and Ms. King had a meeting today. So I had to take one for the team by myself, because we were scheduled to go to Evergreen Elementary to prepare and serve lunch. Board, I have not cooked for 3 years.
She's telling the truth.
And it's the truth. My oven broke 3 years ago, and it's just me. I microwave stuff. So I was like, ooh, cooking. But no children were harmed today. So I need to tell you that. But it was amazing with Chef Ostrander and that team there, how the detail they put into making sure that the meals are nutritious, are served aesthetically, so the kids want to eat it. It was exciting. And so I prepped, I served, I was supported, and I thanked them, and then I left and went home and microwaved something. So it was good, but it was just another great day. And I also, just one last thing, too, I wanted to thank Representative Stan McLean, who met with me, and we talked a lot about early learning. He has a heart for early learning and a heart for education, and was very open to discussion on what he can do at the state level to help us. And so we've started great partnerships with vocational talking about our vocational programs, talking with the outreach to our veterans, and again, that focus on early learning and some exciting things to come for that. And so we were very, very excited yesterday to have that conversation. One book I'd like to share tonight is a cookbook, because as we move forward with our No Homework Initiative, our No Traditional Homework Initiative, we know that communication at home between the family and that student is so important, and one of the best times to have communication is, so they tell me, is when you're cooking dinner. So when you're cooking dinner with your child and you're choosing recipes that perhaps that child enjoys, and you engage them with that, the math that you'll use, the vocabulary that you'll use as you go over a recipe is great, but also that talking about the day and what happened in that child's life and what they learned. And so we will be sending home supports to families on conversation initiatives. We will be supporting our teachers to help with that process. And I just thought that a cookbook would be a great prop for this evening and a great book to share. And I'm thinking that when I get my stove fixed, I may try something out of here. I will start here. I will remediate myself. So and we'll move forward with that. And I'll let you, maybe one night I'll make something for you. Okay, all right. But thank you so much for another great meeting.
Thank you.
It was entertaining, ma'am. Today.
I know, I'm sorry, I missed that. I want to piggyback off what you just mentioned about the no homework. I think parents are hearing no homework, and I think some really believe there's absolutely no homework. But actuality, there is, in the sense, and you did a great job of talking about this book and how there's math in here and reading, and that you will be sending home with parents to give them a little support. Because I even just today, I heard, like, people may hear no homework, and I was like, not really. I mean, it is no homework, but not our traditional homework. And so I'm glad that you said that. That was great.
And reading.
Well, that's what I said. I was like reading.
20 minutes a night.
But I think somehow they missed that. But there is reading every night. So that was good. Also, I want to commend Dr. Mayer. I did have an opportunity last week to go to the principal's leadership meeting that she, you and your staff did an excellent job. I was getting ready, look right here, I have Miss Dobbins. Miss Dobbins was the MC. You were marvelous. You were very well organized, you were poised, and I was very impressed. And it was very exciting to see where our schools are heading, and just being a little bit in the teacher world, you hear about Common Board, so I did go sit in the Common Board meeting, and I felt better, and I can assure my colleague, my teacher friends or whatever, that it's going to be okay. It's good, and so just that was an exciting time. I've also had a few weekends. I've been working with Miss McGuire. Well, I haven't been working with you. You worked really hard. I helped with Stuff the Bus. And we would go to Walmart in the mornings, and I would go in the morning, I think maybe one afternoon. And that program provides supplies for our homeless students, our most neediest students that need that extra support. And so there is another Stuff the Bus this weekend in the Shores. And also, for those who love or like Zumba, August 26th, I believe we're going to have. Miss Stacy, you should come to Zumba. You should.
I just started a diet today, and
See?
Barb Dobbins. I already had a Snickers.
Oh.
I'll cook something healthy for you, Miss Stacy.
Okay, I'm not gonna wait too long for that.
Yeah. And then also this past weekend, and Dr. Mayer was there, and actually this program began back in January. I believe I received an email from a Carrie Coates. And so again, Miss McGuire and we went to the Marion Oaks Community Center out there, and we were helping organize Marion Oaks, Sunrise, and Horizon to let these schools work together, because we know that's a community that they're close-knit. It's not like, they go. So it was really good to see this past weekend, we had a back-to-school bash. I didn't get there at 10 o'clock when the doors opened because I was at Stuff the Bus, and then I went to that. But it was my understanding, and at first I wasn't sure if they were exaggerating or telling the truth, but they said there was like 1,000 people outside lined up, like it went up and around. And then today I heard that there was at least 600 backpacks and students that were there. So if you combine the 600 students and then the parents and siblings and stuff, and that was the first time. So that was a wonderful event it was a wonderful event for the family because that was their first exposure to school. It was happy, it was positive, the principals were there, meeting and greeting, their staff was there, and there's good things that are getting ready to happen there with that community center. So, yeah, that was pretty neat. And then I'm gonna end, because it's not every day that I receive a letter from the senator. Did you guys get one? I saw envelopes, so I don't know. But last week, I received a letter from our Senator, Marco Rubio, and it says, "Dear Mrs. King, it is with great pleasure that I congratulate Marion County Public High Schools on making the Washington Post Most Challenging High Schools list for the 3rd consecutive year. This recognition is a testament to Marion County's dedication to quality education. The teachers and faculty at each of the county's 7 schools should be extremely proud of this accomplishment and how they are preparing students to succeed. On behalf of the people of Florida, I congratulate you and your colleagues in this honor, and I extend my best wishes to you and look forward to hearing of continued success. Sincerely, Mark Rubio." So, on behalf of Mark Rubio, to all the teachers and students, thank you. You guys are awesome. And I feel like you guys should have received this and not me, but since I did, I'm going to share it and keep this. So, okay. And that'll end my discussion. Ms. Flockketter, are there any parents who have submitted a timely request to speak on their child's disciplinary matter? No. Okay, good. May I have a motion to approve the expulsion of student JD 17-134, JD 17-135, JD 17-136, JD 17-137, and JD 17-124 with educational services through the entire 2017-2018 school year?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Mr. James. Is there any discussion? Sorry, I heard. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. There being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Ms. Boynton.